Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Daily Fix. I am your usual host and presenter, Advocate Tulo Hoyane. Yesterday, Judge Ratha was at it again. So fed up was Advocate Mnisi that he told him to his face that you are simply treating me like a child. And we have seen a lot of this from Judge Ratha. Let me just recap what was happening yesterday. Yesterday, Advocate Mnisi was going through his cross-examination, and he was indicating that he's going to require certain AVL records. You'll recall that the red Golf is one of those cars that allegedly did not have an AVL fitted in. In other words, it did not have that AVL gadget to trace its movements. As Advocate Mnisi was doing that, Judge Ratha, in typical fashion, kept on interjecting and, stopping Mnisi from, continuing with what Mnisi wanted to say. And Mnisi simply said to him, I am frustrated. I'm frustrated by all this. And with all due respect, and I hope without any reprisals coming after this, you are simply treating me like a child. That is what he told him. And Judge Ratha just ignored that. A serious allegation like that coming from an advocate in his court, telling him simply that you are treating me like a child. I'm frustrated by what you are doing. You keep on disturbing everything that I'm doing. In other words, you are disturbing the flow of my cross-examination. But, in typical Ratha fashion, the judge was just unfazed by it all. He just simply told him, okay, go ahead, and let's get on with it. As if nothing had happened. And this is behavior from a judge which is totally unacceptable. You see, a judge is not supposed to act like Judge Muhating has been acting throughout this trial. Those interjections can be very disturbing. Because if he keeps on interfering like that, he disturbs the flow of the cross-examination of Advocate Mnisi. And it makes it virtually impossible or very difficult for Advocate Mnisi to conduct cross-examination under those circumstances. But sadly for the MEYIWA trial, this is not the first time that Judge Muhating has been behaving like this towards the defense lawyers. You'll recall that there are many incidents in which, he has been heard to be saying very, very, disturbing and disparaging things. There was that incident last year when he made very disparaging remarks about black lawyers, actually, putting down behavior to race. That matter, attracted the attention of the judge president of the Muhating division, Judge Dunstan Mlambo. And Judge Dunstan Mlambo got in touch with him and told him, look, this is what I have. And this also was in view of the fact that the Black Lawyers Association also had intervened and wanted an explanation for what had happened in that courtroom. So Judge Muhating is simply unprofessionally conducting this trial. And you'll remember that there was also incidents in which the late Advocate Tulani Mgomezulu actually told him that, I'm going to make a special entry. I am going to make a special entry against you because of the way that you are conducting this trial. But unfortunately, this trend continues and continues up to yesterday when Advocate Mnisi was that fed up. It is unprofessional on the part of the judge to be treating those lawyers, like Mnisi said yesterday, that, you are simply treating us like children. But the message doesn't seem to get to him. So used to this thing is he that whenever, something like comes up as serious as something that Mnisi raised yesterday, he does not even address it, And it is very unfortunate if, a presiding judge like Justice Ratha Muhating is going to be treating, lawyers and advocates in this court like children. And the disturbing thing is there have never been any complaints. Don't you find it very, strange that there have never been any complaints coming from the prosecution against Judge Ratha Muhating? The prosecution is having it so nice in that court. They've never complained about him for anything because clearly he leans towards the prosecution. It is the defense that is in trouble here, And this is outright bias and unacceptable. And this is one of the things which I've always said that it disturbs me a lot. And the lawyers involved in that case must take up some of these things on appeal. They cannot be treated like this. How do you conduct cross-examination or do your work under circumstances where you are being treated like a boy or a child? It is totally unacceptable. So there you have it. There was that encounter which, Judge Muhating, like I said in my opener, just typically just ignored it as if nothing is happening. In other words, he doesn't even feel the impact or does not even care about the impact of his conduct towards these defense lawyers. Like I've already said, it has happened over and over and over again. And it is about time that he's called to order. I think the man must be reported to the judge president by the lawyers conducting the defense in the Senzo MEYIWA trial. This is serious. This is serious because people's lives are at stake here. People are facing murder charges, and they have to get proper legal representation under circumstances that make it possible for them to be properly represented. Now, if the judge has got no respect for your legal representative, and shows outright bias towards the prosecution, what sort of justice can an accused person expect out of a court like this? But having said that, let us look how he conducts himself on Monday. And I really hope that the defense counsels, and I'm encouraged by what Advocate Mnisi yesterday, calling a spade, you face the man and just tell him, look, don't treat me like a boy. And I hope the other, defense counsels will take it from there. But let us see how Advocate Mnisi continues on Monday and whether this conduct will keep on, surfacing again. But like I've said, it makes it very difficult to conduct cross-examination or to defend people in front of a judge with that kind of disposition. Having said that, let me thank you for watching this video. Let me thank you for all the videos that you've watched in the past. Please like and subscribe to these videos and have a wonderful, wonderful day.